Hey there! Today you're going to discover how to become a true habit machine. So stick around to the end to catch every detail. I'll start with the example of Team Sky, which is a powerful testimony of how small and consistent changes can transform a team's destiny. Imagine a cycling team that for decades remained mediocre with performances that rarely stood out on the world stage. This was the state of Team Sky until 2010 when David Brailsford stepped in. Brailsford brought with him a revolutionary philosophy, the theory of 1% marginal gains. He believed that if you could improve every aspect of what you do by just 1%, the cumulative gains would be extraordinary. Under his leadership, the team began focusing on seemingly insignificant details like the ergonomics of bike seats, the type of tires used, and even the quality of the cyclist's sleep. Each tiny improvement, no matter how small, contributed to a significantly better overall performance. And the result? In just 3 years, Team Sky won their first Tour de France, breaking barriers many thought were insurmountable. This victory was followed by other notable achievements, including a stellar performance at the 2012 Olympics, where the British team dominated with a total of 70 gold medals. These achievements not only highlighted the effectiveness of Brailsford's approach, but also showed the world that great successes are built on the foundation of continuous small improvements. The story of Team Sky is a vital lesson about the importance of consistency and attention to detail, but what can we learn from this story and apply to our own lives? The next step is to understand how we can identify these areas of improvement in our daily lives and implement incremental changes that, over time, will make all the difference. Imagine for a moment that every small action you take, every seemingly trivial decision, can be the key to monumental success. This is the essence of the 1% improvement philosophy. David Brailsford implemented this strategy with Team Sky, and the results were extraordinary. Instead of seeking major revolutionary changes, he focused on continuous small improvements in all aspects of the team's preparation and performance. Lighter tires, more ergonomic seats, optimized rest routines, every detail was refined. This seemingly modest approach generated a cascade of progress that, accumulated over time, turned the team into champions. Think about it. Improving by just 1% each day might seem insignificant, but by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better. This powerful idea teaches us that true change and success do not come from a single grand action, but from a continuous commitment to incremental improvement. But how can we apply this to our own lives? The secret lies in identifying areas where small improvements can be made and persisting in them daily. It's not about a drastic and immediate change, but rather about constant and meticulous dedication. Whether at work, in studies, health, or personal relationships, every small step counts. In the next segment, we will explore stories of ordinary people who adopted this philosophy and achieved extraordinary results. We'll discover how simple and consistent habits can revolutionize your life, inspiring you to start your own 1% improvement journey one day at a time. Throughout life, our mindset shapes how we face challenges and embrace opportunities. Imagine two people in the same situation. One sees aging as an inevitable decline, while the other views it as a phase of wisdom and new possibilities. Studies show that this difference in perspective can directly influence longevity and quality of life. Those who adopt a positive view of aging tend to live longer and better. This is because a positive mindset not only affects mental health, but also motivates healthy and preventive behaviors. The identity we build over time, our beliefs about who we are and what we can achieve, is the foundation on which our habits are formed. If we see ourselves as resilient and capable individuals, our actions will follow this pattern, promoting a fuller and more meaningful life. When it comes to achieving great goals, clarity of focus is essential. Imagine navigating a sea of tasks and responsibilities where every action seems urgent and every demand competes for your time and attention. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and lose direction. This is where the wisdom of Warren Buffett and his 25-5 rule comes in. Buffett suggests listing the 25 most important things you want to accomplish in your life and then highlighting the top 5. The other 20, they should be eliminated or put on the back burner without diverting your focus. This radical approach to prioritization is not just a time management technique, but a life philosophy. It forces us to confront our true priorities and eliminate distractions that take us away from the main path. By applying this rule, we become masters at focusing on what really matters, increasing our efficiency, and directing our efforts where they will have the greatest impact. A clear example of this is the story of Jane, an executive who felt she was constantly fighting against the clock. By adopting the practice of planning her day the night before, Jane began to notice a remarkable change in her efficiency. She used a clear task list, prioritizing the most important ones and allocating specific time for each. This planning not only organized her tasks, but also reduced the stress and anxiety associated with feeling constantly rushed. Over time, Jane incorporated meditation and morning exercise into her routine, which improved her ability to maintain focus and clarity throughout the day. Her productivity increased significantly, and she managed to achieve goals that previously seemed out of reach. Motivation and pre-commitment are two sides of the same coin when it comes to achieving our goals. Often, we believe we need to be highly motivated to start a task, but the reality is that motivation often arises after we begin. This is one of the biggest secrets to success. The simple act of starting generates the inertia needed to continue. Imagine waking up in the morning and feeling uninspired for your daily workout. But once you put on your sneakers and step outside, you notice that the initial resistance disappears and the motivation starts to flow. This is the power of taking the first step. Moreover, pre-commitment practices such as scheduling appointments in advance can be incredibly effective. By marking a specific time for a task in your calendar, you are committing to that activity. This not only increases the likelihood of completion, but also helps eliminate indecision and procrastination. Specifying when, where, and how an activity will be done is a powerful strategy to increase consistency and ensure your intentions turn into concrete actions. To illustrate the effectiveness of pre-commitment, let's consider a fascinating study conducted with over 3,000 employees who needed to receive the annual flu vaccine. The company decided to test 3 different approaches to increase adherence. In the first group, employees received an email informing them about the need for vaccination without any additional instructions. In the second group, employees were informed about the need for vaccination and received a predefined schedule with the option to change the date if necessary. In the third group, in addition to the predefined schedule, the email included a specific time for the vaccination. The results were surprising. Employees in the third group, who had both the date and time scheduled, were 4 times more likely to attend the vaccination than those in the first group. This experiment clearly demonstrates how pre-commitment and detailed specification of when and where to perform a task can turn intentions into real actions. Now, let's apply these concepts to our own lives. Think of a personal or professional goal you want to achieve. How can you use pre-commitment to ensure you move in that direction? Maybe you want to start meditating daily. Instead of simply telling yourself you'll meditate when you have time, commit to a specific time, like every morning at 7 a.m., right after having your coffee. Put this in your calendar and treat this commitment with the same seriousness as an important meeting. Let's explore stories of people who implemented this strategy and achieved great results, showing how the combination of motivation and pre-commitment can be the key to unlocking your potential. Creating environments that make it easier to maintain positive habits is a fundamental strategy for long-term success. Our environments have a profound impact on our daily decisions and behaviors, often in ways we don't realize. The key is to design our spaces so that they automatically encourage us to make better choices. For example, Professor B.J. Fogg of Stanford University demonstrated this in a simple but effective way. He loved popcorn, but knew he would overeat if it was easily accessible. So he placed the popcorn in a hard-to-reach spot on a high shelf in the garage. This small adjustment to his environment meant he had to make considerable effort to eat the popcorn, which significantly reduced his consumption. This is environmental design, creating barriers to negative habits and making it easier to access positive habits. Jerry Seinfeld's story offers a powerful lesson on the importance of consistency in pursuing our goals. Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians of all time, shared a simple yet incredibly effective secret for maintaining his creative productivity. He uses the X technique on his calendar. Every day he writes a joke, he marks an X on the calendar. Over time, these X's form an unbroken chain of productive days. The goal? Never break the chain. This technique not only helps maintain consistency, but also provides a visual motivation that reinforces the daily habit. When we see the sequence of X's growing, we feel a sense of accomplishment that encourages us to continue. This approach by Seinfeld illustrates that success doesn't come from sporadic, large efforts, but from small acts repeated daily with discipline. Imagine the transformation in your own life if you apply this technique in any area, whether exercising, learning a new skill, or working on a personal project. The key lies in the simplicity of the method. You commit to a small daily action and let repetition build progress. Seeing the X's accumulate gives you a psychological boost as each day becomes a concrete step toward your goal. If you enjoyed the video, I recommend subscribing to the channel to help it grow.